Hi there, it's Nicole McGork for 2peasinabucket.com, and this week's holiday card making event project features gift cards, cards that will hold any number of gift cards that you might get for the recipient while you're out shopping for the holiday season. The first thing I'm going to do is I am going to choose my library in the Silhouette America software, and I chose this gift card here because it's a two-piece gift card, and you can resize it to be almost the standard size greeting card, not quite, but close enough. And over here on the right, I chose the grid, and I clicked Show Grid because I want to be able to resize it to fit in a standard envelope. So I'm just you can see there along the left side and the top, it shows the measurements. And I'm going to drag that out until it is, went out of screen just a little bit, I believe 8.5. Yes, 8.5 inches long there across the top of the page. I'm thinking that's what I want to do there. And you can see it comes in two pieces. That inside piece has the little cutout for your gift card. The one right there that the mouse is hovering over. Okay, so now I'm just going to make sure that this looks right for cutting. Check it all over really good. And the new software for the Silhouette is really nice. I think that it works much better than the old software. So I'm going to just drag this clear over here to the top left corner so that I can check the size. And down in the lower left corner of the page is the Ungroup button, which I clicked. And then I clicked and dragged around the inside portion of the gift card, and I clicked Group. There I'm going to click and drag, and down there in the left corner, click Group. So now that is all one item. I'm going to move it over to the side so that I can cut the outside of the gift card. So underneath the cutting settings, I'm going to click Cardstock, the 80-pound weight. And now there's a nice feature called Double Cut. I just clicked it. Then I'm going to click Send to Silhouette and then Cut Page. The double cut makes it so that you no longer have to cut and paste one on top of the other to have the machine cut twice. By clicking double cut, it automatically will cut your image twice. So that makes it really nice for cutting out of cardstock or thicker pattern paper. Oops, got to get rid of that little dashed line there. And now that I've cut the outside portion, which I did cut from white smooth cardstock, I'm going to go ahead and cut the inside portion of the card, the one with the little slot for the gift card. And I'm going to follow the same steps to cut the inside. Now that the card is all die cut, I'm just going to check to see that my gift card fits inside there, and you can see it does with plenty of room to spare. And I'm ready to start decorating the front of my card. So I'm going to set the inside portion to the side for now. And what I like to do is I'm going to be using quite a bit of inking, and I don't want the back of my card to get all nasty with the ink that's on my work surface. So I usually take a larger Post-it, but I couldn't find them, so I'm just going to use my smaller ones. And I'm just going to make sure that the entire back of my card is covered with these Post-its. That way I don't have to worry about the ink getting on the back and making the back of my card not look very good, especially when you put that much work into the front of the card. A tool I like to use a lot with my card making is the Stamp-A-Majig. It comes with that little T-square ruler and then this plastic sheet. Mine is black, but I believe the one in the two-piece store is green. It's the exact same tool, just a different color for the T-square ruler there. And what you do is I'm going to take some Memento Tuxedo Black ink and this reindeer stamp from Hero Arts. He's new for the 2010 holiday season. And I'm going to ink him up You can see I've got the plastic sheet butted right up there next to the T-square ruler. And I'm going to line up my rubber stamp there in that same corner and stamp it. Now I'm going to take the front of my card and I am going to figure out where I want to put my reindeer using this plastic guide. And there's the sentiment I'm going to use. Now I'm going to use my T-square, line up my plastic sheet, take my rubber stamp and ink it up again. Carefully keep that T-square in place and move the plastic sheet to the side, line the stamp up, and stamp, and perfect placement. It's really an invaluable tool for your wood-mounted or red rubber stamps, cling stamps, things like that. Next, I'm going to take this snowflake design cling stamp from Hero Arts, also a new stamp for the 2010 holiday season, and I am not worried about masking my reindeer or anything like that. I'm simply going to stamp the background with the snowflakes. I'm just going to stamp right over the reindeer for now. I'll show you why here in just a little bit. So I'm going to stamp once, and you can see it doesn't cover the entire front of the card. I'm going to ink it up again. And then just line it up where I left off and stamp again. That way the entire front of the card is covered with snowflakes. I'm going to take some white embossing powder and sprinkle it right over that stamped image, and there you can see those snowflakes. Make sure I get it covered really good, and then I'll heat emboss that to set it. Next, I'm ready to take some tumbled glass distress ink. I'm going to fold my card in half now because I don't want the inside to get all inked up. And starting off the edge of the page, I'm going to rub the ink on in circles. And you can see those snowflakes appear through the ink. The embossed areas resist that ink. I'm going to take a scrap of white paper now, and I'm going to stamp the reindeer again. This is going to be the reindeer that we cut out and place over the reindeer on the front of the card. Now you can use Copic markers, regular markers, chalks, watercolors, anything that you want to color in the reindeer. Then I cut him out, and I didn't worry about cutting out his antlers because you can see they're already on the card. It's a technique I like to use a lot with little details like that. Go ahead and stamp it first and then cut out your main image. I've punched a couple of borders using a border punch. This one's from EK Success. You could use a scallop border or anything that you want, maybe even just die cut or hand cut. I wanted to create some little snow there along the bottom of the card. So I layered a couple of them, inked the edges with that tumbled glass, and then I'm gluing the reindeer on right over that first stamped reindeer using Glossy Accents. Since the legs are a little bit thin and delicate, I wanted to make sure I used an adhesive that would really hold him in place. Just position his feet there so it looks like he's standing in the snow. And here's that Glossy Accents, and I see his ear isn't down very good, so I'm going to put a little bit more under his ear, hold that down. And I'm going to add the Glossy Accents to his nose and his scarf. It adds just a nice sheen and just a subtle bit of texture to a stamped image. I really like this. Not only an adhesive, but a great embellishing tool. And I'm just smoothing it out using the nozzle. And then I'll need to set this aside for a little bit so that it dries and I don't make a mess. For the sentiment, or the greeting, I'm going to use this Enjoy the Season from another Hero Arts 2010 holiday stamp set. And I stamped it using the Ranger Big and Bossy clear ink. And now I'm going to take some red embossing powder and sprinkle it right over that greeting. Tap off the extra, and then I'll heat set that. I'm going to use this label punch to punch out the greeting to adhere it to the front of my card. I really like these labels. They add just the perfect little shape and really complete a greeting on a card. I'll line that up really good and punch it out. And I'm just using a lot of scraps for this card. A lot of times when I'm making cards, I just use scraps of paper that I have lying around. Once I have that punched out, I'm going to take a white pen and I'm just going to add a little dashed line around the edges of that label. Gives it a nice finished look. I put some foam adhesive on the back and then I'm ready to adhere it to my card. You can see the glossy accents there on the nose and the scarf, plus I added a couple of black gemstones for the eyes. Next, I did the inside portion of the card just like I did the cover, minus the reindeer. Added some tumbled glass distress ink over those snowflakes, and I need to adhere that to the inside of the card. And I'm going to put adhesive along all four sides, and then along the top portion, right of the where the gift card goes in. Then I'm going to open my card and I'm going to adhere that to the inside of my card. And you can see that that adds a really nice finished presentation for your gift card giving. And I didn't put adhesive at the bottom portion of where you're going to slip that gift card in so that you can get your gift card in that area. I'm going to remove the Post-it notes and you can see the back is nice and white. I'm going to grab my gift card. Oh, you can write your greeting there on the left, and you can slip your gift card right inside that little pocket there. Perfect. I added a little bit of red ribbon just to spice up the cover or the front of the card just a little bit more. For the next gift card holder, I created a little pocket with an insert. This is also a silhouette die cut, and I cut this at the exact same size that it came, and I cut it from some tan and some red cardstock. And you can see the inside portion has two little tabs that it cuts that you can slip your gift card in. And it's perfectly sized and proportioned for a gift card. And that's what it looks like all put together. So for the inside insert there, I'm going to take this large plaid Hero Arts background stamp and some Barn Door Distress ink, and I'm going to ink up my stamp with that Barn Door's red ink. This is my favorite red ink. I really like this. Make sure I get it on there really good, and then I'm going to press that right over my gift card insert or my card insert. And it's just a subtle tone-on-tone effect. There you can see that plaid a little bit better. Very subtle, but I wanted the inside to have just a little bit of something going on. Now for the outside of the card, I'm going to make sure I clean my stamp really good, and then I'm going to ink it up with antique linen. Again, I'm going for a tone-on-tone effect. And I'm going to stamp just that front portion of my card with the Hero Arts large plaid stamp. Make sure I get that stamped and on there good. And you can see the really nice subtle background. I really like doing that tone-on-tone background. I'm going to make sure, fold it all up and see if I like that. And here's what it looks like with the insert. I'm going to use this Merry and Bright greeting, also from Hero Arts. I'm going to make sure everything goes together the way I think it should. And now I'm going to take this clear stamp, also from Hero Arts. This is a little branch with some hanging ornaments, and I'm going to ink it up with some brown ink. And I'm going to stamp that right along that top edge of the front of my pocket card. Get that lined up the way I want it. Press it on there really good. Make sure that it all gets on there. And that looks nice. It's a really cute design. I'm going to take these green watercolor crayons. I have not used them in forever, and I just happened to come across them, and I thought it might be fun to give them a try. So I'm just using a couple different shades rather, and I'm just going to kind of randomly add just a tiny bit of color to these leaves. You can see I'm not doing it perfect or neat or anything like that. Just kind of randomly adding color. Then I'm going to take this Fantastics little stick. These are from Sukaneko, and I wet the tip of it and just kind of am watercoloring. I'm spreading out those colors in the leaves. You can see I got out the lines a little bit, and to fix that I cleaned the tip of this Fantastic stick really good and wet it and kind of just worked the color away. I just kind of kept wetting it and pulling the color up and off, but you can see that leaves a really nice effect, really quick and easy to do. And I use something that I've had in my stash forever. There I'm kind of going over that. You have to be kind of careful because if you wet it too much you can tear your paper. Now I'm going to stamp my greeting on this green strip of cardstock using some clear embossing ink, and I'm going to sprinkle on some red embossing powder. Tap that off really good. And then I will heat set that. I'm going to use this Floral Punch from Martha Stewart. Creates a really lovely lace doily border. I'm going to be covering up that kind of flower portion of this. I didn't punch very much. I only needed a small portion of it. Move that to the side. And then I'm going to take my stamped greeting strip and lay that over the center of it. And you can see that doily on either side of it. Just kind of gives it a nice lacy effect. Kind of elegant. And then I machine stitched down both sides of the strip before adhering it to my card. Next I'm going to take another ornament, also from the same Clear Hero Art stamp set. And I'm going to use the brown ink and stamp that right there in between the two smaller ornaments. Kind of offset it a little bit to add interest so it's not exactly evenly spaced. And then I'm going to take a pen and just draw in a hook for this ornament. Really quick and easy. I'm going to take some snowflakes. They're also from the same stamp set, and I'm just going to randomly stamp them. You can see I've got them laid out to see if I like where they're going. I'm going to stamp a couple here and then one down in the lower right corner of my card and one on the insert. And I'm stamping them with the clear embossing ink because I'm going to emboss them with white embossing powder. So once I have all of those stamped, I'm going to sprinkle on the embossing powder and then heat set them. And I keep my embossing powders, the ones I use a lot in these Tupperware dishes with a spoon. Is a tip I got from Jennifer McGuire a long time ago. It just makes it really easy and makes cleanup really fast and easy as well. So there's that snowflake. Looks really nice on the tan. That white embossed on the tan. Once I have the snowflakes embossed, I'm ready to put the card together. So I'm going to run some adhesive down both of those little flaps there along the side, tuck those in, and put the card together. Adhere the back to the front there. Fold them in. And I also use the tiny attacher to secure the greeting border along both sides. I didn't show that step here, and I also colored in the ornaments and added glossy accents on top of them, let them dry, cut them out, and adhered them on top of the ornaments on the card. For more information, please visit twopeasinAbucket.com. Thanks for watching.